There's a dangerous kind of attachment. Not the loud, dramatic kind, not the kind filled with constant fights or obvious betrayal, but the quiet one. The one where you slowly lose yourself without even realizing it. You tell yourself, it's not that bad. They're just going through something. If I love harder, it will get better. But deep down, something feels off. And today, we're going to talk about the silent signs you're emotionally attached to the wrong person, the signs no one warns you about. Because sometimes, the hardest truth is realizing you're not in love, you're attached. 1. You feel more anxiety than peace. Love doesn't feel like walking on eggshells. If you constantly feel nervous before texting them, if your mood depends on how fast they reply, if you overanalyze their tone, their silence, their emojis, that's not security, that's emotional instability. When you're attached to the wrong person, your nervous system is always on alert. You're not relaxed, you're not grounded, you're bracing yourself. Real emotional safety feels calm, not chaotic. 2. You're afraid to express your true feelings. Think about this. Can you tell them when they hurt you? Or do you swallow your feelings because you're scared they'll leave? When you're emotionally attached to the wrong person, you shrink. You edit yourself. You tone down your needs. You pretend you're low maintenance. You become the cool partner who doesn't complain, but inside, you're screaming. If you feel like being honest could cost you the relationship, that relationship is already costing you yourself. 3. You're addicted to their potential. This one is powerful. You don't love who they are. You love who they could be. You replay their good moments in your head. You focus on the one time they showed effort. You hold on to that version like it's coming back. But potential is not reality. When you're emotionally attached, you're constantly waiting for them to become the person you deserve. The right person doesn't need a future fantasy to feel right in the present. 4. You confuse intensity with connection. It feels deep, it feels passionate, it feels magnetic, but it's mostly emotional highs and lows. One day they're warm, the next day they're distant, then they pull you back in just enough to keep you hooked. That roller coaster creates addiction because your brain starts craving the high of their affection after the low of their withdrawal. That's not deep love, that's trauma bonding. Healthy love is steady. It doesn't need drama to feel real. 5. You're more invested than they are. You're the one who initiates. You're the one who checks in. You're the one who tries to fix things. You tell yourself, they just struggle with emotions. They're just busy. That's just how they are. But effort is not personality-based. It's interest-based. When someone truly values you, you won't feel like you're dragging the relationship forward alone. Emotional attachment to the wrong person often looks like overgiving in hopes they'll finally choose you fully. 6. You feel empty when they're distant. Here's a deep sign. When they pull away, you don't just miss them, you feel incomplete. Your confidence drops, your energy shifts, your whole day feels heavier. Why? Because you've made them your emotional anchor. Instead of standing on your own emotional stability, you're leaning on someone unstable. That's attachment, not love. Love adds to your life. Attachment makes someone your life. 7. You ignore red flags because you're afraid to start over. You see the signs, the inconsistency, the lack of commitment, the emotional unavailability, but you tell yourself, I've already invested so much time. I don't want to be alone again. What if I never find better? So you stay, not because it's right, but because leaving feels scarier than settling. Attachment to the wrong person often survives because of fear, not happiness. 8. You feel drained instead of energized. After talking to them, you feel confused. After seeing them, you feel emotionally tired. After arguments, you feel like you're always the one apologizing. Love should feel like emotional nourishment, not constant exhaustion. If you constantly feel like you're fighting for crumbs of attention or reassurance, your soul is trying to tell you something. 9. You've lost parts of yourself. This is the quietest sign of all. Look at who you were before them. Were you more confident, more focused, more joyful? When attachment turns unhealthy, you start reshaping your personality to maintain the connection. You drop hobbies, you change opinions, you tolerate things you once swore you never would. Little by little, you disappear. And the scariest part is, you don't even notice until you feel empty. 10. You stay because of the memories. You're not staying for how they treat you now. You're staying for who they were in the beginning. The honeymoon phase, the long conversations, the promises. But beginnings are easy. Consistency is character. If the present doesn't match the past, you're attached to nostalgia, not reality. Why it's so hard to let go? Emotional attachment doesn't break easily because it's not just about the person. It's about the future you imagined, the validation you hoped to receive, the fear of being alone, the belief that this is the best you can get. And sometimes it's about childhood patterns. If you grew up feeling unseen, you may unconsciously chase people who make you earn love, because familiar pain feels safer than unfamiliar peace. The hard truth: the wrong person will make you question your worth, will make you overthink your value, will make you feel like love is something you have to fight for. The right person will make you feel chosen, will make you feel secure, will make you feel calm, not confused. How to know for sure? Ask yourself one honest question. If nothing changed about them, could I accept this forever? Not their potential, not their promises, not the version you hope they become, but exactly how they are right now. If the answer scares you, that's your clarity. The most important reminder: you're not weak for being attached. You're human. Attachment happens when you care deeply, but caring deeply doesn't mean you should settle deeply. Sometimes the strongest thing you can do is detach, not because you stopped loving them, but because you started loving yourself more. Closing message. If this resonated with you, it's not a coincidence. Maybe this is the moment you stop chasing confusion. Maybe this is the moment you choose peace over potential. And remember, the right love won't feel like something you have to survive. It will feel like something you can finally rest in. If you found this message powerful, share it with someone who needs clarity today. And don't forget to subscribe for more deep truths about love, attachment, and emotional growth. Because sometimes, the sign you're with the wrong person is how small you've become trying to keep them. Stay strong.